What's going on, YouTube? Hey, boom, bah, boom, boom, boom. Y'all already know. You see the Miami sign that's about to come up. If you haven't guessed yet, Cam Ward Pro Day. Right. Okay. About to watch it. While we're watching it, I got another Lego set. So, it's something to keep my peace. Yeah. New hobby alert. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into it. Volume 46 minutes of damn highlights. Okay. All right, here we go, Cam. Let's see what you got to show us.
Now, as we get back with you here from Coral Gables, where Cam Ward is ready to let it rip with much anticipation. Potential #1 overall pick, wearing that #1 on his shirt right there, just as he did throughout his career at Miami. 2 years at Washington State, 2 years at Incarnate Word, and this final season, really productive one there in Coral Gables. 39 touchdown passes, just 7 interceptions. Over 4,300 passing yards, and we'll get set to see him rip it around a little bit. There's Elijah Arroyo, Xavier Restrepo, we'll see Damian Martinez a little bit as well, Rhett Lewis, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks here with you from Los Angeles, Cam Wolf and Brian Baldinger with us from Coral Gables inside the Miami indoor facility there.
You know what? I think he really looks nervous. He's only thrown 2,330 passes.
Never done this before.
So, I mean, he looks like he's just ready to go out there, just relax
and here we go. Nope. Almost.
Juked us.
Yeah, over 18,000 passing yards. Remember, you got to go all the way back to post-COVID year. He played in the spring in 21 and in the fall in 21. There we go.
There we go.
Started off with some of those quick routes that Cam Wolf was telling us about a little bit. And again, DJ, especially you, this ball comes out of his hands quickly and with authority.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting early on, though. You see kind of under center, then in the gun. He's taking kind of, I mean, it's not like a firm drop in this situation. He's taking a 5 and a 7 here. He's just kind of, this is more like just kind of loosening your arm up a little bit than anything you'd be paying attention to from a footwork standpoint. You don't really see a quick 7 from the gun throwing a hitch, so it's kind of to loosen up a little bit.
Right. No, I just think immediately the thing that shows off is how the ball just jumps off his hand, how easy it is. We talk about easy throwers and guys that don't have to strain a lot to push it. It's very easy for him.
In terms of, the athleticism and, we mentioned, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, like where would you put Cam, more of an escape artist than a design QB run type of situation?
Yeah, I think he's more strong and elusive, just subtle athleticism, to use kind of an oxymoron there. But you're not going to see him ripping off, 50, 60-yard runs. That's not really what he does. But he can make you miss in a short area, and he can go get those free yards if you're going to give them to him.
I think it's a tool that's in the toolbox that he'll use if necessary, but he wants to win from the pocket. He wants to deal. He wants to throw it all over the yard. He is a gunslinger at heart, and it shows up in his play.
Yeah, and I think anytime you flip it on and you want to see him, try to get out of trouble if the pocket's breaking down, he does feel like he is always looking to throw it. Even when he's on the move out there, and has made some big plays in his career on the move, improvisational, and on designed rollouts. I mean, he can definitely let it rip that way. Talking about maybe seeing some of those timing throws a little bit. Baldy was kind of having his eye on that there. His center, Zach Carpenter, transferred into Miami also this year.
There he is under center.
Yep.
Yeah, again, there's not a
lot of urgency.
This is like pat and goes you would have before a game would start, just kind of laying some go balls up there. It's just kind of, it is a little interesting to me, Buck, because normally they want everything with footwork to be precise and crisp, and it's, hey, if the ball's coming up early, we're taking 3 steps, we're getting this much depth. We're taking 5 steps, we're getting this much depth. This is kind of a very leisurely, from a footwork standpoint. Again, that's not.
It's very casual. It's like layup lines.
It might also be part of the script, right? The early part wanted to just kind of
loosen up a little
bit.
Loosen
it up a little bit more. Lines. Get the receivers a chance to loosen it up too.
Yeah, you may take the 3-step layup like the Maryland kid did last night, just to kind of get loose.
Wow.
It was
no travel.
Euro step plus. It was the Euro step plus.
Okay.
That's all. That's all. That's what Cam Ward is doing. He's taking extra steps to get it going.
They are moving the line of scrimmage quite a bit here.
That's crazy.
I think they're doing that to help the receivers out a little too, so they
give a little break,
run back to the line. And they got a bunch of wideouts, so they've got options there. That should give them at least a little bit of a rest.
And, DJ, looking down there on that little bio blast bottom right corner on Cam, you see he's your 10th ranked player, but obviously you've got a mock going number 1. When you see that disparity, that's the quarterback position, right?
Yeah, no, that's not an overpay.
Right.
If you need a quarterback and you have one with a grade that puts him in the top 10, it's not a reach to pull the trigger there at the very top of the draft.
And it's good to see the ball in the air, though.
Yeah, the receivers are at, I would say 50%.
Yeah.
50, they're just
little pat and go.
Yeah, this is the warm-up portion of the program.
Now, did y'all call it pat and go? Because I've been places where they called it Baltimore.
No, we called it pat and go.
Riverside a couple of times.
Riverside flipping a little bit.
Middle open, middle closed.
They're sure. And where do you feel like he is at his best? Like when you watch Cam, what kind of throws do you feel like really light it up?
I like watching him drive the ball on in breakers.
Yeah.
To me, I think he's really, really comfortable. There's some young quarterbacks, and you got to remind yourself this guy has played so much football.
Yes.
But some younger guys or inexperienced players at that position are a little reluctant to work what I call the muddy part of the field, working in between the hashes in the middle of the field. He's very confident, very comfortable of letting it rip in that portion of the field.
Here we go. All right, we just had a little huddle breakdown. Bring it in. Focus up, and now we'll really turn it on. See what that footwork looks like in comparison to what we there. That's a bit more like it, right?
Now we're throwing slants, 3-step.
He threw it right on the face mask.
Yep. I love watching him on those RPO throws, man. That ball comes out.
There it is. There's the hands.
And then you also saw the sidearm delivery. But that is the transition we talk about, the shortstop.
God, he's got quick hands, man.
Really does. So give us a sense of how that comes into play, right, in the landscape of an NFL game and an NFL play.
You want to get the ball in your playmaker's hands as fast as possible. As soon as you make that decision, I'm pulling the ball, I'm not handing it off, how quickly can you transition to get the ball out? Because every delay in you getting him the ball closes distance with the defender. So as soon as I get that on him, that's why with Tua, we talked about him being like a blackjack dealer, how quick his hands were. With the RPO game.
Everything minus the bet.
You see them run a lot of that stuff in Miami.
And we're impacted. David Cutcliffe came on Move 6 years ago, and he talked about how at quarterback he wants someone who has middle infielder hands. And when you look at Cam deliver, you do see the exchange, the ability to turn to and do all those things. It just leads you to believe that the RPO game, he can just terrorize people doing that at the next level.
Yeah, I also find that, we've done, you guys and I, we've done these pro days for almost 10 years now, and I think it's also really interesting to note like the different atmospheres, the different environments that you go through as we get Cam starting to
nice crisp,
nice out right there.
Yeah, that was just a little warm up session early on. There was no focus on the feet. Now you can see a concerted effort. He is crisp with what he's doing.
Brian Baldinger with us on the field. Baldy, what's it feel like in there watching Cam now that this thing has really kind of gotten going here? We're starting to get into the meat of this thing.
Well, I mean, the RPMs of the throws have picked up. I'll tell you that. There's no more layups, guys. This is, this is Full Metal Jacket here. But I just want DJ to look. As a former quarterback, he's got a very pronounced right foot. It's way up. Even when he goes under center here, that foot is way up, and the left foot's back. Like he rocks off that left foot from there to be able to throw that slant. But that slant comes out hot right there. That's a good-looking throw. You want to see these quarterbacks throw live. That's an impressive-looking arm on that quick slant.
Yeah, Baldy, it's a good point. It's taught differently, and you see quarterbacks that play with a stagger and others that play more straight up. It's kind of a preference thing more than anything else. Some coaches are very, very strong in their opinion. Others want you to do what you're most comfortable with. But the most important thing is getting out of there.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the folks in attendance, showed you a shot of Brian Callahan, Tennessee Titans head coach. Obviously, Titans owners are the #1 pick as it stands now. You've seen Joe Shane, general manager of the New York Giants, and in the end zone right there in the background. Also, you saw Mike Kafka, offensive coordinator there for the New York Giants. You get another one of those in-breakers, Deeps. I mean,
it jumps,
yeah.
And it's like that 3/4 delivery too.
Yeah. But, you know, like, Bucky, if you're sitting there as a coach and a GM, I mean, obviously you've seen probably almost every throw that he's made, you know, especially this last year at Miami on tape already. What are the most valuable pieces of these moments that you're getting to see in person?
I mean, really, it's just him checking off the boxes.
Yeah.
Just having the final opportunity in a dress rehearsal to see him look great. You talk about being able to hear the ball, feel the whiz, feel the power,
right.
the velocity is coming off his hands when you make those throws. Everything that we see him do, we've seen him do a million times on tape, though. So there's no surprises when it comes to the arm talent that he displays.
I love that last one. I feel like you see that often. You know, if he's escaping out to the left side, bam, still makes a nice throw on the money, right on the sideline.
He has that ability to just kind of disconnect his upper body and his lower body, and then can generate a ton of whip and force. And again, people, because I feel like this is something has to be said every time. You're overreacting to a parade. No, this is what this is. This is the driving range, everybody.
Yeah.
We're not playing a full 18 holes today. We're going to watch these guys at the driving range. We want to see how the ball comes out of their hand, what type of velocity they can generate. How accurate can you be? These are receivers you've worked out with them, you've played with them. Timing and accuracy should show up in a workout setting like this.
I think about it in this capacity. First day of minicamp when he goes to his new team. All the veterans are out there and they're looking for the young quarterback to see. If you put him out there, will the veterans be like, okay, we got one.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at him throw, you can already sense that the old guy's going to look around and be like, oh, okay. I have one. We got a chance. Just because of the talent, just the sheer talent that you see him display makes you believe that he has high-end potential.
Brian Callahan, there you go, right side of your screen. Head coach of the Titans, first overall pick, where they could certainly fill in the card that says Cam Ward, deep shot. You guys ended up seeing a couple of his receivers at the Shrine Bowl as well, right, Buck?
He did have a couple of guys out there. You know, they look a little different when they don't have Cam
Brown,
on the ball, but they were solid to it. I just think Cam Ward jumping in Miami as a one-year player, immediately season control over the leadership, and we understand what it is to be a legend down in Miami, but for him to jump in, being an outsider, and to take control, and for this team to have success responding to his leadership style, that also speaks volumes to him as a quarterback.
That's a good point. Yeah, here's Elijah Arroyo.
Now we got a little movement
like that.
Moving left, throwing right, which is not something you're probably going to teach, but it's something you can show off when you've got that type of an arm.
Now, there's also some evidence on tape out there that can get him into a little bit of trouble.
Yes, some cross-body throws, the Cal game being the most notable, and then, of course, he leads back. And,
right, the second half was incredible.
But that happened a few times on tape, and that's where, there's aggressive and there's reckless. It's a fine line, and, sometimes he drifts over that. But, man, you don't want to take all that away.
You got to live with it. I mean, some guys are
I thought some of that was the problem with Chicago last year. I thought they should have been more willing to live with some of the mistakes and encouraged a little more aggressiveness from Caleb instead of almost being paralyzed by, gosh, don't turn it over, don't make a mistake.
He did something that was unusual 2 throws before that. He had his feet flipped completely different. He had his left foot back, his right foot up.
He's had different stance and setup in a bunch of these.
Even from the gun, which is weird because he was so cocked to the side.
Brian Baldy, you're back here with us. Baldy, what have you noticed thus far?
Well, I mean, the release is elite, and he can really torque. It doesn't take much to generate real throwing speed from him. He doesn't have to step much into it. Like his lower body and upper body is so connected that the ball just, if he needs to really stick it, he can stick it. Like, let's just watch right here on this out route. Like, nice, smooth throw, right? Nice and easy right there. Allows George to win on his route, and then the ball is out before he comes out of his break. So we're looking at it.
Why do I feel like I'm a freaking reporter or something? Like I'm a scout or something. I feel like I'm a scout out here, man. Why do I feel like that, man? What's up, Joby, man?
Timing route.
We watching your quarterback, man, go to work.
Right there, a little short out. One of those throws that you make on 3rd and 5. Try to.
This is pro day from yesterday, Miami pro day.
Keep the chains moving, 6-7 yard gain. Keep the chains moving, but you need an accurate throw. Here's a little play action.
A nice over route.
Dropped that one right in the bucket to Restrepo right there. That was a nice throw. We haven't seen that bootleg turning his back to the defense like that. So he's working some of those type throws in right now, Rhett.
Yeah.
But he's been working on this, this whole set now for a couple of months. But here he is, Aurora, just on a comeback right there, right where you need to put it. You want the defender on his upfield shoulder. You got to stick it. Aurora comes back to the ball well.
Ball has not hit the ground much, which is obviously what you want to see here at Pro Day.
Right here, Rhett. Yeah, so looks like we got the other tight end right here from a true wide position with a release a little.
Yep.
Okay, just a hook up over the middle. All right, reading the zone look right there, just hooking it up, sticking it between the linebackers. We see that quite frequently. So we're seeing some routes right here, guys, that that you would throw against the zone, and some that you would go.
See, I ain't started. Somebody in TikTok said, "Better leave him away from the Cowboys."
Up against sticky man coverage. That's the first miss.
Yeah, first miss. Yep.
Whether that was first miss, so I don't know if that was on the receiver, but that ball was a little short. They're going to redo it right here. Not happy with that result, so coming right back to the same play. There's your speed out right there. I'd like to see that a little bit more out front than where that was, thinking the defender's on the inside right there. So put that a little bit more on the outside is where you really want that location.
The ball that he missed got loose too, and that's something you don't see often when you're watching him. He throws a tight ball. He can really spin it. That one just came out a little awkward and got loose on him.
Right, Cam Ward working his way through this Pro Day throwing session script that he and his quarterback trainer and his receivers and tight ends have been working on to put together here. And didn't see Cam throw it at the Combine, so again, first time we've gotten a chance to see him since playing the first half of the Pop-Tarts Bowl for Miami back on December 28th. Didn't play in the second half. Haven't really seen any of the Martinez throws out of the backfield, I don't think either.
I have not.
Oh, here's one. Nice corner.
Guard.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things you're looking at this workout, you can see too, he is more comfortable letting guys come out, see it, and rip it. In terms of anticipation, that's one thing with if you're stacking the quarterbacks up, Shedeur would get a mark in his favor with just the anticipation side of it.
Here we go. I got a Restrepo out of the backfield, running a little angle route. Incredibly productive career at Miami for Restrepo. 1,000 yards each of the last 2 seasons. Again, breaking Santana Moss's career receiving yardage record.
Come on, Reggie, where you at? Where you at on that list? That's Kafka in the background back there.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's a good Pro Day stop to be at. Down to South Florida in April. Late March, kind of good spring break time,
His feet are quick.
It's a good ball.
Nice throw. Yeah. He does a nice job of keeping his front side tucked too. Sometimes you'll see guys get a little bit open, it kind of flies open, the ball
Talking about hips?
up on him. Yeah, he does a nice job of keeping keeping that nice and tucked.
Throwing off to the right side here.
Nice catch.
Yeah,
low ball.
Yeah, not a ton of receivers, so it feels like, again, they're trying to take care of these guys. A little bit of a breather in between clusters of reps.
Good to see him smiling, having fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all sorts of different ways to go about this from quarterbacks. You know, we've seen them kind of get in the huddle every time and kind of call it out and send a whole group out. You know, we've even seen shoulder pads and helmets before. Come a long way since then.
That was a thing. That was a thing for like a year or two. Then we got away from that.
We got away from it.
Got away from that.
We've seen outdoor and weather.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Shoot.
We did.
Sam Darnold threw in the rain at USC.
Yeah.
So did Davis Mills at Stanford.
Not much, Leroy. You didn't miss not
Kind
much.
of the quickness. I would even say that's a nice ball. It's the urgency. Like there's an urgency that he plays with when he gets pressure. He pulls through it real quick. Think about pulling your hands through, and plays real sturdy and strong. Now, he's not a huge guy. He's not 6'4". He's just under 6'2". But he's 219 pounds, and he is very sturdy, very strong. You'll see him in those situations with free rushers, kind of shrug off tackles, keep his eyes up, and make throws down the field. So in a workout setting, you're not going to get tackled, Buck, but you can simulate that a little bit, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it feels like he does have a good bit of fearlessness to him when it comes to kind of throwing, as you mentioned, some of those in breakers in those tight windows.
Good throw.
Nice throw and catch right
Good
there.
throw.
Ward to Restrepo.
All-time leader.
That's it.
Restrepo. Think about all the great wide receivers that come to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, Reggie, I don't know what were you doing?
The all-time.
Reg?
I mean, come on. Andre Johnson, for goodness sakes. We got Hall of Famers. Another spot route for Arroyo. And I think a lot of times, we talk about processing, with quarterbacks that are, getting considered to be at the very top of the draft like Cam Ward is. When you guys watch, Bucky, DJ, when you guys watch Cam,
you got to catch
see him
that,
going,
man.
From left to
You
right.
gotta
You see him going
catch
from
that.
1 to 2
No
to 3.
way
Can you
you
see the
dropping
full
that.
field? Do you see some of that progression that makes you feel good about, understanding what, let's just say,
No
Brian
way we
Callahan
dropping
may ask
that.
of him, with Tennessee
My day
Titans.
good, Leroy.
I don't think you see him get real deep into progressions, and I don't think you see many college quarterbacks get real deep in progressions. You'll see, 1 to 2, 1 balls out, 1 to 2 to, okay, let's move and let's create, let's make some things happen. But I do see him get to 1 to 2, connect his eyes and his feet, and then deliver the ball. I think our buddy Dan Orlovsky even posted a play on that today where it just showed an example of that. But yeah, you'll see that littered throughout his tape. But it's hard to find college kids nowadays, but
really go beyond that.
Not going to go much further beyond that.
And so then the transition to the NFL game will become, you talked about the Tennessee Titans loading up on the run game up front, being able to run it. Well, if you are a run play action team, it eliminates some of the need to have to go through all those progressions as a young player. And maybe he can begin to develop that as he gets into year 2 and year 3, being able to be a full field reader.
All right, Red Lewis, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks here with you, watching Cam Ward throw it around. Brian Baldinger, field level for us in Coral Gables. Baldy, what's the word?
Yeah, Rhett, one of the things that I'm looking at here, and it's really apparent, is how quickly he can get balanced, whether it's off a drop or off of a boot action or roll action right now. He gets his feet underneath him very quickly. And we all know that, if the feet aren't set right, just like a basketball player, the ball's not going to go where he wanted to go. And I think one of the reasons why he's accurate on the move is he's very good with his feet. And then, his ability to extend plays, like DJ can really support here, but like it's such an instinct in the pocket of where the pressure is coming from, where you can keep your eyes down the field and really trust your instincts.
Good route. And good catch.
He doesn't have the speed that Jaden Daniels has, but I feel like he's got the same poise that Jaden Daniels has. Just watching him work here, you watch him throw, touchdown throw after touchdown throw in college. He's not a big celebrator after that. Like he throws it as if he expects it to be completed and a big play as a result. But I think the big thing I'm seeing right now, guys, is just his ability to get balance to make a throw, regardless of what the drop is.
High degree of difficulty.
Hey, Tendo, thank you so much for the sunglasses. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're doing your thing.
Yeah.
But this route was an ooh and ah type.
It was.
Post corner or post corner out, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, break off.
Yeah, man, that was a hell of a route.
You get creative sometimes as you get deeper into these pro day scripts. I'm told there is one throw on here that's called the Cam Ward special.
Oh, Cam Ward special, huh?
So is that the
that the
pro day
Zach-
throw
is
that
that the
we
Zach
always
Wilson,
talk about, right? The Josh Allen, the Zach Wilson, the ones that get everybody fired up on both sides of the debate about pro days. Cam can let it rip deep, as you can see with those PFF numbers. Pretty clean on some of those deep throws, 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's got some good layering ability too. I watched a fade ball against Georgia Tech. It almost looks like it. I mean, it's like a two throw, almost like a bullet, but ends up just hitting the receiver in stride as he's moving towards the corner of the end zone.
It does kind of come out. I would say 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is that where we're going to go with the release and where that comes out? It's interesting. It's just kind of that. It's not all the way down to 3 o'clock, but
No.
it's between 1 and 3.
I'm gonna get a little hydration and continue through this script here for Cam Ward. It's been a busy pro day at Miami. There's plenty of prospects for NFL teams to get familiar with down here, and he gets
What's up,
more eyes
B5?
on down here. We've talked about a couple of them. Damian Martinez, the running back. Elijah Arroyo, you've seen out here catching balls from Cam. Jalen Rivers, offensive lineman, started out at left tackle and at guard for the Hurricanes. Xavier Restrepo, we've talked about. Right there, shirt off, middle of your screen. He's been a favorite target of Cam this last year. Sam Brown, Jacoby George, with a couple of wideouts there, and then on the defensive side of the ball, some of those guys as well. And this is the only thing that Cam's really doing. I mean, that's fairly common now for quarterbacks. I feel like it's pretty rare we see quarterbacks run 40s at pro days anymore, although Jalen Milroe did. Justin Fields did back in the day. Good throw right there.
It's a firm ball.
Yeah. Yeah, that's mimicking his own motion right there.
Center's having a good time.
Zach. He's got a little Hoosier in him, so
There you go.
that's from.
I don't know how does that have anything, because he has a Hoosier.
I mean, everybody smiles at Indiana, as you know. Yeah.
Oh, he's happy go lucky.
Yeah. Well, he didn't leave. But yeah, I mean, the production again for Cam this year and over the course of his career speaks volumes for his body of work. There's a little spin out. Oh, here we go. Is this a special?
That's a fadeaway.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll take it. It's like an out and up at the end there.
Ooh.
To me, that's a finisher right there.
That's what that feels like. Baldy, how'd that one sit with you?
That was the old scramble drill.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gotta
Restrepo
have it.
was running the out, then somebody go deep, somebody come short, and he aired it out, and it was perfect.
See on your screen there, we're 31 days from the draft in Green Bay. Won't take long for Cam Ward to hear his name called. And whether, that debate has been Cam and Shedeur Sanders. Got some differing opinions right here on this desk on who is that top quarterback in this class. We'll see Shedeur Sanders and his Colorado teammates in their showcase coming up on April 4th right here on NFL Network.
Oh, April?
And didn't really get to see these guys go
April
back to
4th?
back in terms of, combine throwing sessions, which, kind of love that piece of the evaluation as well. you see 2:30 Eastern time, we'll see Shedeur.
Is there a showdown at the end of that showcase or no?
Could be. Shedeur Showdown Showcase. Showtime, you know. All right.
One thing I do like about the transfer portal is actually a lot of things I like about it, but getting a chance to see.
Yeah, you were like the first one to do it back in the 90s.
That wasn't cool back then. Yeah, back then you just transferred and you get the crap kicked out of you.
Right.
But the opportunity to go into new environments,
Yeah.
learn new playbook,
Is
learn new
Cam
teammates,
Ward gonna
and
change
have
the
success.
Tennessee Titans around?
Obviously, it's a much bigger scale when you get to the NFL. But he's had a chance, Bucky, a couple times to do this now, to come into a new environment, learn your teammates, learn
And
the
can he
system,
do it in
and
one
find
year?
success. I think that is going to serve him well. It's
Like
served the guys
Jaden
well that we've
Daniels.
seen over the last few years.
Well, and the difference with
And
Ward
C.J.
is
Stroud
he
did.
was a difference maker for all of those teams. Go Incarnate Word to upgrade Washington State, have success at Washington State, didn't go to Miami. Look, he has proven that he understands how to be a part of turning the program around.
Ooh, Scouts might look at that wide receiver.
Nice deep in right there on Cam. 23 and 25 touchdowns respectively his 2 years at Washington State, playing there in the Pac-12. You know, the rushing yards is not something that you've seen rack up in his career, although this was the most we've seen from him in that category throughout his career. Those 204 yards this year actually led Washington State in rushing touchdowns back in 2023 with 8. But it was not, those were not long Jaden Daniels type runs. It was more in close, put it in the paint, and he did it. Looks like we're moving down. Haps with a couple of red zone throws.
It's usually the way these things go.
Finish.
Get a couple red zone throws, and then you finish it out. You flip it around and
let it rip.
Oh my God, bro. Freak, man.
Let's see what Cam has loaded up here. Still to come.
Bro.
Oh, yeah. Love that with the Arroyo right here. That's a big time combo.
Good catch.
Yeah.
What's up, Dior?
Both those guys excel down here in this area. Another
Yeah, they
shot.
mix in a couple layups in here to just kind of everybody can catch their breath between some of the more difficult throws.
George, need help?
That's another good one out there on the right side.
Bro,
I
he's
mean,
throwing the
I
ball
feel like
good,
in
bro.
this part of the field, guys, with these types of throws, that ball placement is paramount, right? You want to, it's your guy or nobody, right? When you're throwing some of these balls out, some of these fade balls, some of these ones that you're going to get, out into the corner of the end zone or out near that pylon, you want to make sure that's 6 points or nothing. Yeah.
I didn't do the pro day, Buck. I graduated in December. Didn't bother coming back for obvious reasons.
Tell me more.
But I think I would have majored in the three-step.
Yeah.
I just lived in the three-step world.
In breakers too. Yeah. Hitches, slants.
Maybe a whip here or there.
Hey, can we put the ball on the near hash?
Yep. We're
Go
gonna go
out that way. We don't
a
just
quick 5 on the vertical routes. We're gonna take a real quick
put
5.
the ball out and up.
Get it out early.
I watch my grandpa say penis.
Yo!
The
Ain't
other
no
thing
more
you think
free
about
NBA
in
young boy
today's college
free,
football,
yeah.
I mean, if not to say that it's the driving factor, nice catch there from Restrepo. Look, 40 time didn't wow you, but again, he can play. But you wonder if NIL isn't around. Is Cam Ward already in the league? Or some of these guys already in the league? One of the things that we've seen that part of college football changing has kind of helped some guys stick around a little bit longer, a little extra seasoning, a little extra development, and a lot of times it's paid off. A little stutter step.
Man, nobody don't want to be in the college for 30 years.
Motion. You watch him go, you watch the receivers go. Yeah, those guys are quiet. There's not a whole lot of difference.
Why is that a sound?
I know for a fact he's faster than some of these receivers.
Thank you so much
he's
for
not
the
gonna
bit.
have a 40 time during the draft process, and I don't know that it really matters.
No.
He's gonna thrive. Right there up the hash in the red zone.
No one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause.
What's up, City Boy? Thank you so much for the bits. Oh, his 40 time was not good? Oh.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
How many throws into this do you think the Tennessee Titans needed to see before they felt good one way or the other?
Oh,
Hey, you tell me.
I feel like they probably put the pen down quickly, closed the book.
And it is it's important
Thank you
to see
so much
guys
for the
throw
bits.
live because it is different. Watching tape, you think you see.
What's up,
But
Doc?
there is, I think that our Cam used the term like you got to be able to feel it a little bit when you're in person, and that is true. You see it live, throw the ball, it looks different. It's an important piece of the process just to confirm what you saw with the tape.
And it goes beyond the pro day. You want to see them live in game action. So you can go down, walk around the sideline, see them in the pregame, watch them from the press box.
Wrist piece on bling blow, neck piece on blizzard, baby. I throw some ones, baby, you do that dance on me, baby. I throw 1,000 more, keep shaking that ass on me, baby. Young nigga round with her. Yeah. Young nigga round 50,000 cash on me.
Oh my God.
There, a little out and up
Wow,
for
that's
Strepo
slow.
down the left sideline. Did he stay in?
That's slow.
We'll give it to him. We'll give it to him. Couldn't see it. We'll give it to him. Benefit of the doubt.
We got to get down to the last few throws here.
Yeah,
we got a couple more,
10.
and then I'm guessing he'll flip it.
Yeah. Again, from a size perspective with Cam Ward, you're talking about, just over 6'1.5", 219 pounds. I mean, no real concerns there with what you guys see in terms of frame.
Nah, he's strong. I mean, you can just see it even how he's kind of put together there. His lower body, he's got a lot of strength. I mean, in a perfect world, you wish they were all 6'4", 6'5", sure, but not the way it works.
Sudden movement right there, too. Again, resetting. As Baldy was saying, like coming to balance pretty quickly. Baldy, one more time back to you, just as we come towards the end of this workout here for Cam Ward. What kind of impression will it leave with you?
Strong impression. I mean, he's going through every single route in the tree right here. Right here, just throwing that fade route right here to his tight end. These are timing throws, obviously, but I think it's been a good day for him. He's got his receiving core out here. You can see why quarterbacks want to throw to the guys that they throw to all year long. But he's been basically coordinating everything right here, giving his guys plenty of rest, even watering down some of his receivers that are little parched at this point after running route after route. But I think he's going to feel pretty good about how this thing winds out. We've gone the length of the field here. We're down here at the 7-yard line right now, and it's about finishing drives right here. All right, so here's this back of the letters in the end zone, right where he needed.
Love that route.
Everybody kind of drags in the back of that end zone right there, and you got to throw it up high over the top of everybody and let your receiver go get it.
Baldy, thank you, my friend. Thanks for your input for us. Thanks for your insight down there on the field. You can go hit the water, buddy. You can go hit the salt, my friend. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, almost done here. What you got, Deech?
Our researcher extraordinaire, Jack Andrade, hit me up with notes. I was asking for some red zone information. So Titans last year 24th in the red zone.
Watch
Last
the
year
video
Cam
after he
Ward
came
21
out and
touchdowns,
blocked
1
man.
interception in the red zone. I would say that probably could provide an upgrade down there.
There's some upgrade potential there for sure. Again, like, you know, they're going back and studying all that stuff as well. Like, all right, where are the areas where we really need to make some strides to
Yes,
become a
Dior.
more productive offensive
Been there,
football
done
team?
that.
Obviously, down there in the red zone is
good
about as
catch.
important as it gets.
In case you were wondering, the Giants were last in red zone TD percentage.
Copy that.
Browns were 28th. All the teams that are represented at this workout happen to be not very good in this part of the game.
You know, we used to talk about it with our buddies Sean O'Hara and Brian Billick. Man, it's a third down in red zone league. You got to win third down. You got to win in the red zone. You know, all 32 teams represented in some form or fashion. Obviously, we've seen top decision makers from those teams at the very top. GMs, Mike Borgonzi was beginning his run as the Tennessee Titans GM. Joe Shane went to New York Giants. Can't imagine Andrew Berry's too far away.
Have we updated this, by the way? Because the only one that I can remember, Buck, was Teddy Bridgewater's the only one where I could say a pro day I think might have hurt the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did not throw well that day. Remember, it was no gloves.
Yeah.
And
Arroyo might
outside
be the
of- I don't-
second
I mean,
tight
it is
end picked
rare
after
that
Warren.
one of the top tier quarterbacks.
Him right
goes to a
there,
pro day and doesn't
that on
impress.
tight end right there.
I mean, it's hard.
You gonna
to
nitpick
mess
it?
up.
Sure.
Ooh, too high.
Missed one there.
But it's always good to throw a high than low. You don't want no interception.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily remember, you know, like Lamar Jackson's pro day being, you know, like the most impressive one we've ever seen, but, you know, did a lot of the things that you wanted to see, you know, him do. And that's what you have the opportunity to maximize your script and maximize, you know, your strengths, or if you feel like you need to fill in some gaps, right? Or, you know, prove a couple of things and some throws, you have the opportunity to do it. Let's check in here with these final throws on Cam. Right down the pipe. It's always tough to follow.
I think he's thrown the most touchdowns of any pro day I've ever seen. Listen,
Yeah,
a lot of red zone work.
Well, it is fitting for a guy with the NCAA Division I record for touchdown passes. Very comfortable in this area. There's Joe Shane again.
What is the Redskins doing here? They probably looking at a wide receiver.
Elijah Arroyo has put together a pretty good workout as well. When you go back and talk about some of the receivers, you know, like if you're a team, like you go back and hey, man, really, you know, ended up liking the way that these guys ran some of these routes.
Too high again.
You know, from what you've seen, not just about the quarterback, right?
Yeah,
So everybody get a little work. So I mean, everyone will get a little conversation about. But if you feel strongly about any of these playmakers, you kind of sell them when you have an opportunity to.
Didn't Terry McLaurin really impress in the Ohio State Pro Day years ago? I mean, not that he wasn't being a higher draft pick anyway, but
might have been Haskins year.
Yeah, Haskins year. Yeah.
I just remember it was Marvin Harrison.
Years before he was eligible, right?
That got a lot of
right. You'll see that. We've seen that really the last 2 or 3 years. I want to say some of the quarterbacks, right? If a program doesn't have a draft eligible quarterback, they'll have their current QB1 throw it around.
Oh,
he missed a little bit.
Roll right, throw to the middle. That has interception written all over.
That's a little.
We probably don't want to put that one on tape. I don't think Brian Callahan found that funny.
Yeah. We're going to try to work that one out.
We were trying to get that one out.
Yeah. But again, you're trying to throw, you know, different types of scenarios, right? Different types of situations.
I'm all for, hey, just kind of do what you want to do. Show off everything.
Yeah.
Show off some of the stuff you're not gonna
ever do again.
You're not gonna actually
right.
do it, and in fact, they're gonna tell you not to do some of it. But until we get to the point where somebody's taking a baseball bat and spinning it around on their head like the third grade birthday party, I'm gonna be willing to let everything go there.
I'm with you on that.
definitely built up a nice lather for these wideouts running around.
Yeah, we were a little bit worried about that. Baldy wasn't sweating when this thing started, so.
Gotta catch that, man.
Looks like some good RPMs on that one.
Restrepo's not even running the back line in the red zone yet.
No.
Not his calling card.
Yeah, we are spending a pretty good amount of time here in the red zone.
So we're trying to answer those questions.
Thorough. There we go. How much work do you feel like, from generally speaking with these quarterbacks, DJ, will a team have to do on some fundamentals, right? On footwork, on, the way that you're kind of getting the ball out on some of the quicker throws. Will you see some changes made once you get to the league generally?
Usually what it is.
Is he chewing tobacco? Is Restrepo chewing tobacco? Hey, Alexis. Is this man? That's just his face? Nah. He chewing something. No, his face swells up. He got a condition? It's a condition? Wait, for real? Bruh. I ain't know that. I did not know that.
Especially when you're taking one high with some of that stuff. It's like,
what condition is that?
hey, you've done it your way. Like, okay,
Embiid
you're comfortable
had
that
it.
we'll do that. And then
Had it so it could go away. The more he's active, the worse it gets. Does it hurt?
if you lose 2 or 3 games, your way's over. And now we're going to work on doing it the way we
Oh my god!
traditionally
It looked like his.
done it.
It looked like his whole face is swelled up. What condition is this? Epilepsy? That's that him activation.
There you go. Oh, no, we're not done.
We're going to shift it.
We got a wildcat?
Oh, we gonna throw it to him?
What in the...
What are we doing?
Yo!
Restrepo!
Going to catch one?
To Cam! We got it!
Okay, so we can do a trick play.
Yeah!
So we can do a trick play.
First time
That's what
ever.
we're
Man, you gonna get sacked, man.
So we can show you can do a trick play.
I think we had all five eligibles in on that one, I think. In some way, shape, or form. Double reverse.
Wow.
Quarterback,
It's called
throwback,
vascular
pass.
malformation.
Yo, you look way too happy about that, bro.
Who said that? That was awesome.
That's too funny.
I appreciate the creativity right there. Thanks to Cam and his team for coming up with a little pizzazz at the end for us.
A little curly kneel. A curly kneel to close it out.
Be careful. Might see that in Andy Reid's playbook here coming up next season. Before it's all said and done. Nice way to finish up here. And final thoughts from what we saw today. DJ, again, lead us off. And Bucky, what do you guys feel?
Look, he did what he had to do. He threw the ball well. It came out well. End of story.
Oh, look, he's super talented. Everyone knew about the tools and the talent, but it was another opportunity for him to show it off. I think the evaluators that had a chance to watch this up close and personal, I think they come away impressed with all the things he brings to the table.
No question. Thanks to Cam Wolf. Thanks to Brian Baldinger, for Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, our great crew here in LA and in Coral Gables. I'm Red Lewis. We'll see you on April 4th for Shedeur Sanders' workout.
W Pro Day. I don't think it was anything crazy. Showed off what he could do, and they did a bunch of trick plays. A whole lot of it in the red zone, though. I would have liked to see a little bit more deep throws, but it was all right. But anyways, W Pro Day for Cam. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.